Hello, everyone. Welcome to a History of Popcorn review. This is an
Yee-hoo!
exciting one. Me and Justin have been talking about this one off and on, and we're both looking forward to it. Or we're looking forward to it, and we both finally saw it. This movie is called Barbarian, or if you've seen the movie, it's called Barbarian or something, because it's the name of the street that they live on. I don't know if that's not a spoiler, but
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that is right.
because
So I
when they're
wonder if
saying it in the
that's
movie, they're calling it Barbarian, but I think it's Barbarian. I'm
so
not
that's
sure.
that. Oh wow, yeah, no, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. If you don't know what Barbarian is, and if you is this a spoiler review? This will be the second half of this will be a
Oh
spoiler
yeah,
review.
yeah. No,
But
there's
we'll
some things I
start.
want to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna start this review as general as we can be, but then we'll let you know when the spoilers start. So, Barbarian is about. Well, it starts with a woman who checks into an Airbnb and it's double booked, and with it stars Bill Skarsgård, who's the guy who's already in the Airbnb, and this other actress named Georgina Campbell, who's really great, and I want to see more of her in movies. But um, this Airbnb is double booked, and there's a lot of weird stuff that happens. And as it progresses, the more they learn about the house, the worse things get. That's how I will pitch it. Justin Long is in the movie. If you're patient, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but it's a wild movie, and the less you know about it, the better. Without spoiling anything, Justin. Oh wait, actually, I want to mention the director because you told me about this. I didn't know that the director was who they were.
hmm
Zach Cregger, who is the co-creator of Whitest Kids You Know, uh, directed this movie. Is this his first movie?
His first movie was actually Miss March.
Well, it's
That
not
him and
associated with. Is
yeah,
this his
it's
first
not.
solo movie?
This is his first solo movie.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
It's a crazy debut.
I definitely wouldn't have if you show me Whitest Kids You Know and Miss March and like the shit that Zach Cregger's done, like his acting wise, I would have never guessed that he would ever do anything like this
He
ever.
pulled a full Jordan Peele.
He did, and somehow it was a little bit better than what Jordan Peele's been doing.
Hmm.
So yeah, Barbarian is about a girl.
Yeah, what'd you think about it without spoiling it? Just to get someone
um,
out the door to go see it.
I think that this movie is one of the greatest. How should I? Similar to Bodies, it's one of those movies where like you think that you're smarter than the movie
Hmm.
going in it, and like you look at the posters, you watch the trailer. Because I only watched one trailer, and I only seen the poster, and just immediately I was like, okay, it's this girl. She gets trapped in this Airbnb. This creepy guy who just so happens to be Pennywise,
Yeah.
and he has creepy shit going on, and like it's his Airbnb, and he has creepy shit going on down there, and that's that. It's just gonna be a typical. It's gonna be disgusting. It's gonna be like Saw. He's gonna be doing some creepy ass shit.
Right.
Blah blah
Whenever
blah.
there's a basement, you know
Yeah,
something's going to be good.
but that's not what this movie is at all. And without spoiling it, that's all I can really say. Like that's just not what it is. And what
Hmm.
ends up happening is so much more disturbing. And somehow really fucking hysterical too,
Right.
but really, really disgusting and gross. And like the way that it's funny is in the most darkest way, like in
Yeah.
the most darkest ways possible. Like like
Yeah.
like you're not supposed to be laughing at it, but the director does such a great job at setting these things up, and once it's revealed you can't help but nervous laugh, and because it's just so fucking out there, it's
Yeah.
so out there. So without spoiling, that's what I'll say. And I will say also that I just absolutely love this movie.
Yeah.
And Justin Long, I feel like this is like in a way a kind of spiritual sequel to Tusk, like because
I could
Justin
see
Long's
that.
character, because he
Yeah.
plays this one, he is a little bit worse,
Hmm.
but both of them, he's an obnoxious ass motherfucker who's in the entertainment business, and he just gets what he deserves. And like he in Tusk, he gets turned into a walrus, and this
He goes
he
through hell. Yeah. It goes
he
through hell in
goes
this.
through hell. And but the shit that he does though
Yeah.
is some of the funniest shit, some funniest, most stressful shit, because he is so fucking stupid. The theater that I saw it in weren't a lot of people, but all of us, it's one of those movies where all of us like we're looking at each other. Like
Yeah.
we were like so into it together. The measuring tape, all of us were just like, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it. I think it's one of the like it's the best horror movie I've seen in a long time. And it's also one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
it's very rare to me. And whenever I watch a horror movie, where even towards the end, like leaving the theater, I was terrified. I was
Mhm.
scared to come in because I've only lived here for 3 months or so.
Mhm.
I walked in here with my friend and I checked every door and I like checked the floor and I was like,
Yeah.
are there secret rooms in here? What's going, like, I don't really like, 'cause this is an old place.
Right.
I don't really know this place all that well. I got very scared.
Yeah.
And that movie, the movie had an effect on me. I have not
Yeah.
had a
Once
reaction.
it ends, you want to get out of there because you're like, I
Yeah.
need to shake this off because so
Yeah.
much happens.
I haven't had a reaction to a horror movie like this in so long. Usually,
Yeah.
towards the end of horror, especially modern day horror movies, it gets so stupid and over the top
Hmm.
that the shit that you were scared of, like all those jump scares, you forget about them. But Barbarian does, it's completely different. Where you remember, it's such a memorable movie because
Yeah.
the imagery and the themes are just so freaking. It's just,
Intense.
it's
They're
so
so
intense.
intense.
It's impossible to leave the brain. I can't
Yeah.
remember the last time I saw a movie that was this fucking terrifying, this good in the modern age, like
Hmm.
in the theater. You know, like
Hmm.
I can't really tell you the last time I saw a movie that was quite like this. It was amazing.
I agree. And it was a big breath of fresh air to see Justin Long not play a sweetheart because
Mm-hmm.
that's what everyone. I mean, he's really good at doing that. He's just an all around good actor, and we've seen him play some really weird characters. But when he's in horror movies, also like Jeepers Creepers and stuff like that, he's always the guy screaming, the weak, quote unquote weak guy that you want to see step up and be heroic.
Yeah.
He does something incredibly different with this movie, and Zach
Mm-hmm.
Cregger has written a wonderful character to have Justin Long portray this, embody this man is very it was very interesting because um I'm yeah, like everything that Justin said I agree with. It you remember it and you get this feeling of real dread, and there's like multiple levels of fear that you feel in this. Like there's, without like spoiling anything, because we'll spoil things in 1 minute, but like without spoiling anything, there's different levels of like evil in this movie. There's like ones that make you want to look under the bed. There's ones that make you want to like lock your car doors. There's ones that make you want to like,
Talk to your neighbor.
yeah, be aware of the people that you actually know. And like it's a really really out there movie, and they do some really good early horror tropes of jump scares, of characters, because I'll get into that in a minute, but like it's solid. It's a very solid movie, and like Justin said, you'll remember it, and that's the wonderful thing about it. So if you're a horror fan, the less you know about it, the better. So if you haven't seen it by this point, stop watching this, go see it, and then come back and hear our thoughts for the spoilers, because the less you know about it, the better, and that's honestly the best way you can talk about it. Um, this movie was a part of the 20th century merger with Disney, and Disney didn't know how to release it or market it, so they didn't market it,
They didn't really need to. They did.
and
They did a great
that
job with it.
yeah, and that worked in its favor, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Because it's one of those movies. It's word of mouth. Like
It
it's
really
so.
blew up because of word of mouth. It was
Yeah.
#1 for like 3 weeks in a row, which is rare for an R-rated horror original movie. And it sure, it was in a slump of the box office, but it did good for itself already. And I'm very
Yeah.
happy for Zach Cregger and everyone involved because they did a good job with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're gonna get
Let's
into some
do it.
spoilers and talk specifics
Let's do it.
because there's so much to unravel in this movie.
Yeah. It's
Um,
crazy. It's disgusting. It's
it's
trigger warnings like a motherfucker, dude.
yeah,
And
there's
please, please, please go see it. Don't just
yeah,
watch this. Don't listen to us talk about it. Like you
yeah.
have to.
Don't
I
take
keep
our word
telling,
for it.
yeah, I keep telling people at work, everybody, like they're like, I don't really like horror movies. Just tell me what happens. I'm like, just telling them, like, dude, just please, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you have to watch it
Because
because you're never
anything
going
that
to
we
see.
explain is not you're like whatever you're picturing, whatever, like even if like here's a spoiler. Justin Long gets breastfed,
Yeah,
and I know what you're thinking right now is like, okay, that can't be that bad. It's bad.
it's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah. No, so like oh my god. So can I just go for it?
Yeah, go. We're spoiled. Those spoilers have
So
started already. Yeah.
so Tess is stuck with um Bill Skarsgård's character, who
Hmm.
is what's his name? What's his name?
Keith.
Yes, so she's stuck with Keith, and Keith is like awkward, and he's kind of cute, but he's very awkward, and he
Right.
just does certain things that you're just kind of like, oh no, 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 I don't trust this
Yeah,
guy at
there's a
all.
lot of red flags
A lot
at
of red
first.
flags when he's sleeping or when she's sleeping. The door, her door opens, and he's in bed, and he's like twitching, and you're thinking like, okay, this guy's gonna like he's like a cannibal or some shit. Like, what the hell is
Right.
going on with this guy? And then, long story short, she goes down to the basement to get toilet paper. Door shuts, and she's stuck in there. There's this rope that she pulls. There's this dungeon that she goes through. There's a room with a camera, a bed, and a bloody handprint, and a bucket for stuff. And then there's another entryway, and she says, "Fuck that shit." She manages to get Keith to save her, to open the door and to
Right.
to to come in, and she wants to go. She wants to leave, but he's like, "No, let me just check out what's going on." He now at this point, like the roles are reversed. He's like, this okay, this bitch is kind of crazy." And then he goes to check it out. She's like, "Hey, do you see the room?" He's like, "Yeah." And then nothing.
Yeah.
And she decides to go follow him for some stupid
Because
goddamn
he stops
reason.
responding. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this fucking thing comes out,
That's the it's
and what it is, I'm just gonna go for it now. What it is this fucking guy, this dude named Frank, he kidnaps girls back in the fucking fifth. Like, we do this flashback, which is an amazing flashback. It's so fucking eerie. And it's
Mhm.
like the 60s or like the 70s or something like that. And he kidnaps girls, and he like them and like impregnates them,
Mhm.
and they impregnate their babies, and then their babies impregnate their babies. And so this creature, which is not really a creature, it's a human,
It's
kind
called The
of.
Mother.
It's the mother, is just an like accumulation of all of these incest babies, and has turned into this huge, naked, terrifying monster. And the thing is that the mother character isn't. It's kind of like, what it reminded me of. It reminded me of the witch in Left 4 Dead. It's the
Yeah.
same kind of
It
clause,
won't attack
and
unless it's
and it, unless it's
what's it called?
triggered.
Triggered. Yeah.
Yeah, it won't attack. Like, it's actually not even that bad of a person either. Like, it just wants to be. It just wants to have a baby. It wants something to love and to hold and to take care of. But if you cross, if you cross her, she
She'll punish you. She'll give you a
yeah,
spanking of some
she
sort.
or she'll bash your head into a concrete wall. She'll just
Right.
little things like that.
That's the crazy thing is they do such a good job in the beginning of this movie. It's sort of like I compared it to Scream because you go into this movie thinking you're going to follow this character and this person in the beginning, like, oh, this is the main character, and then you actually
Hmm.
end up liking Bill Skarsgård by the end of the by the daytime.
Yeah, because he ends up
Overnight.
he ends up actually just
He's a
being a
he's a,
goofy,
yeah.
weird, awkward guy.
Yeah, and they address the like all of the tropes of like, well, he's offering her wine, she's gonna poison the wine. He acknowledges that. He's like, this one,
Yeah,
this I haven't opened the wine. I want you to see
yeah.
me open it before, so
And
you're
I'm
not
drinking
getting
it
her
with
invented.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so good because it really puts your guard down. And
Hmm.
then
Yeah, you start thinking that you're watching a romantic comedy after a while, because
yeah,
like they're saying like funny, cute things to each other. They're talking
yeah.
about like these tropes
So you think it's gonna star these two people and they're gonna get out of it, and then by the time you first see the death, Bill Skarsgård dies
very
pretty
quick.
violently. Yeah, he's like, "Help me!" And then ultimately you realize there's something bigger than him that kills him in front of her, and it ends. And then it starts another movie of
Yeah,
introducing AJ, played by Justin Long. That's
who?
why I was thinking about Scream, because it's
Yeah,
like you start off watching Drew Barrymore, and you're like, "This is our lead." Going in blind.
100%.
This is our lead. This is our lead. And then she dies, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so now we're rooting for this guy.
Uh-huh.
And when AJ is introduced,
Yeah. Oh my God,
he's
dude.
really lovable because it's Justin Long. He's singing in his
And he's
car.
like singing that song.
Yeah, and the very first scene is him getting canceled as an actor. He's an actor in Hollywood who's about to get a new TV show. He's about to shoot a pilot for a TV show. So he's a successful actor, and he gets news that he's getting accused of something terrible, terrible, terrible. That if we say it on YouTube, we'll get flagged. So
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
I'll bleep yours out. What's all
Okay,
right.
cool.
But he gets canceled and he gets accused of some severe crimes against another actress on the pilot, and he gets fired and loses everything. And so then you're thinking in your head for this character, AJ, you're like, are we going to really root for this canceled guy to get a redemption arc? Like, this is our main
Hmm.
character. And he goes through the process of having to liquidate all of his finances to help fight this court case. And over time, we learn that the more we learn about him and he talks about the situation, the more you're like, oh, he is not a good guy. Like, the way he even explains the story from his perspective, you know that he's in
Yeah,
the wrong.
he's
You know he's in the
he thought
wrong.
he drunkenly admits to what he did.
Yeah, to his hometown friends. And
Who that was Zach Cregger.
oh yeah, it was,
Yeah,
huh? Wow.
yeah.
Wow. But so yeah, you ultimately realize he's not a good guy and you think, are we gonna have is this guy gonna have a redemption arc as the lead character?
Mhm.
And so eventually he has to go back to we find out that he's the owner of the Airbnb, and he's upset because all the stuff from the Tess and Keith are still in the house, and he's like, what the fuck? And he's angry. And so ultimately he finds the dungeon, and
And he's
his
so
his
stupid with it.
first thought is,
Yeah.
because he wants to he has to sell the
Uh-huh.
house to get money for lawyers. So his first thought is, yeah, to grab the measuring tape, and because he looks up how much can I add value to my house by adding all of this land that's under my house. So he just keeps going through the tunnel, just tape measuring everything and getting
Even
the
like in the
dimensions of
room.
everything.
I
Yeah.
love when he's in the room with there's a video camera, there's blood on the wall, there's like there's
Yeah,
blood on the mattress, and he's still just like the editing of it is amazing. Like
it
he's still
is.
just kind of just going for it. He's ignoring all of these signs that clearly something bad is happening under there. And so immediately you're just like, okay, whatever happens to you, just fuck it, just get it over with, just kill him because
Yeah.
he's so dumb. And then when he finds the back one and he's like the music stops, he's like, oh. Then he's just see
Yeah, he's just like, oh shit, because he just sees
oh
more money
man.
out of it.
Yeah.
So you know that this character is really bad and selfish, and so I don't really want to talk about how gross the creature is because that's a given. This creature is incredibly gross and powerful and big, and he eventually gets into that situation. But the wonderful thing about his character arc that I'm going to cut to or jump to the end of it
That's good.
is how his character doesn't change.
No. Yeah, no, yeah. I'll let you.
And I love that about this movie is that you think, oh, are we going to have to root for this bad guy to survive?
Hmm.
Because he ultimately ends up teaming up with Tess, who we find out is still alive
Hmm.
and being held captive. And there's so many things about him that you're just like, I don't see him getting out of this, but I mean, do I want to see him get out of this by the end of it?
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, that was one of the wonderful parts about this movie is that he wrote a character that's not really redemptive and doesn't have any arc. You're just taken in the
With
worst part.
somebody like Justin Long too, like
Yeah,
where he's so
yeah.
like you said in the beginning, like his character in Jeepers Creepers is the one that you want to see. Like
Step
he's
up.
very
Yeah,
selfless and like
yeah.
he's making sure, he's yeah. And then this one, oh hi kitty. Aw. But in this
But
one, it's the complete opposite where
yeah,
he shoots her and then he has this whole monologue where he basically once again admits what he did back in Hollywood,
yeah.
saying
He's
maybe I'm just a good guy who made a mistake. And
right.
he's like trying to make it sound like it's him shooting her, but it's obvious he's like now admitting yet
It's
again
the
that
accusations. Yeah,
he did this horrible thing to this girl. And right after that, it's a deep blue sea moment because
that's what I was
they
talking
have
about.
the
Is that they bring those back.
yeah,
Of you're like,
amazing.
you just have like once. Yeah, go on. You just
But
see
yeah,
it
no,
coming and
they're
in a
in the
wonderful
water.
way.
Yeah, they're in the water tower. The homeless guy gets killed, and he just Justin Long just immediately books it, and he just doesn't give a fuck. Like right when he's like saying like I'm gonna redeem, like he's basically saying I'm gonna redeem myself, and then this
Yeah,
happens, and he just immediately like, nope, I just
yeah,
care about myself. And then what does he do when he's up on the roof? He fucking says, "Get your baby," and throws her off the fucking roof, which does work. And
yeah.
that shot too is so like it's another one. This movie's
Your heart
amazing,
drops. You're like, I
but no,
thought you
it's
just, I guess, but
but
yeah,
the shot of the mom chasing after Tess,
yeah,
it's so terrifying, but it's also the funniest thing because like I was seeing it with my friend Raina, and she just kept on saying, "There's like, my God, her boobs are huge.
Yeah,
My God,"
there's
and like
just
that
a lot of
shot too.
discomfort.
That shot, like if you see her doing like a swan dive to catch Tess, the camera pans and it just goes straight into the boobs. It's
Yeah,
so funny. You can just tell that they had a great time doing this movie.
yeah,
But I'm glad that he did end up dying. I knew he was gonna end up dying, even if
right.
he did kill
By that
Tess.
point, you're like, he has to die.
Yeah, I knew something, either that or it was gonna do pull
Be
a
just terribly and just be like, he's the one
or
who lives.
yeah,
They
or
could
it's gonna
have. I
pull a
don't know. That's the
180 where
thing.
he's like deemed as some hero,
Yeah,
you know. Like it could have gone that route too, which either way, honestly,
that would have been
I
insane.
either way, yeah, I would have still loved the ending, because I mean
Yeah,
like it's like it would have been terrible, but it would have had something to say about like Hollywood and shit, like how
right.
they love
A good redemption
heroes. Yeah,
story.
good
Yeah,
redemption story. But anyways, yeah, no, this movie is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Honestly,
yeah.
like it's one of the most
Super
creative
original.
movies.
Yes, I was honestly expecting.
I thought that's what was gonna happen. I thought they
I
were gonna
thought
go back to the
Tess.
house.
I thought Tess was gonna bring the body of the mother to the police station and be like, "Fuck you guys." Like you guys just
Oh
walked
yeah,
away. I like that last scene, the last shot of her walking. I thought it was gonna like pan down and show her dragging the body to the to people and telling
that would
people
be
what happened
funny.
because
Well,
no
that's
one
the
believed
thing.
her. No one
Well,
believed her.
well, that's the thing. I think people did believe her.
Maybe.
It's just no one wanted to say anything. Like, because the cops, they did show up, and like, even though they're being dicks and stuff, I think that everybody is very well aware what happens, because
Mm,
the mom does roam the streets at night too for some
right. Oh
reason,
yeah, it's a yeah.
and uh when she was talking to
Well,
when
I
she
didn't
was at the
say the mother, but something does. Something
yeah,
goes
yeah,
out. Yeah.
and they were talking about the job interview too, like the person that she was doing the job interview with, she was even like, you're not
Well,
supposed to be there.
that's a terrible area, and the way the director does that is incredible. Because the first time you go to the house, it's night. You don't see
Yeah.
any of the houses. It's all black. And then she wakes up the next morning after her first night with Keith, and all of the houses are shelved up. No one lives there, and that's such a heart wrenching like
Oh yeah, it's fucking
reveal. You're like,
terrifying.
oh my god, this is actually where I'm staying. I didn't even realize that it
But
was just
see, and
that.
then there is that thing which I totally get, like people were complaining about, like the dumb decisions that the characters make.
Hmm.
Because honestly, if it was me and I saw the neighborhood, I would have left a note for what's his face, been like, "Hey, this was fun and everything. Bigger this job interview. I'm fucking finding something else, dude.
Yeah,
This
she
is
didn't
terrifying."
realize it was that bad until she was already leaving.
Yeah,
So she's like, and she was leaving when she got back from the interview. She's like, I'm out. And the
well,
dude
because that
and Keith
homeless
is
guy
just
was
like,
chasing.
stay. Yeah, and I called that from the beginning. I'm like, he's trying to save her. I know it.
Yeah,
But I like how they brought him back at the end, and they had the deep blue sea moment where of
yeah,
like
so
I've been
good.
safe in here for years. Breaks through the back. That's what I was talking about. Is they definitely have the early like 2000s jump scares where you just know it's coming. Like
Uh-huh.
it's just there. That's what I was gonna say about that. It's so funny, and he just rips his arm off and kills him with it.
Yeah, I
It's
know, it's so
so campy, but
oh, it's so
it's
sadistic.
so wild.
Yeah,
It's so wild. It's definitely like an 80s, like a Friday the 13th kill right
yeah.
there. I loved
I
it.
loved it.
I loved
Oh.
it. I loved
Yeah, no,
it.
I,
It's
I
good.
I did too. If I had to give it a 10 out of 10, I would give it a 10 out of 10. No joke. Even with all like the little annoying things that the characters do,
Right.
and
It sounded like most of
the
the things that you were saying is just like you wanted more, a little
yeah,
more. Like you just wanted more.
and it like honestly, it's one of those movies where it's like it's open ended, and
Mhm.
there's so many things that were left unsaid, but it's not enough where it ruined the experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
not enough where it's not like Nope. Like where Jordan Peele is purposely doing this because he wants you basically to feel stupid and to
Yeah.
watch it over and over again, and to see like and because in the end it feels like an incomplete movie, even though you sat
Mhm.
in the theaters for 2.5 hours. This movie's only an hour and a half long, and it only has like a few minor things like that, but it just
Yeah.
makes you just wonder, like makes you just it's not frustrating. It's like actually like you're just like sitting there and be like, you could like talk about it with your friends. Like, what do you think about this? Because me
Yeah.
and when I saw it with my friend Raina, dude, we talked for hours about it. Like we were like, how like what do you think this means? What do you think that means?
Yeah.
And it was just a fun conversation instead of being like Nope, being like, well then what the fuck was at this point of this?
Right.
What's that? I loved it. I give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's a perfect. It's definitely
If you love
definitely on the
horror
top my
movies,
top
yeah.
five. Yeah.
Especially if you love horror movies. If you don't like horror movies, this might be a little bit too much for you. Like it's a lot. It can be too much for someone. I can see that. But if you love horror movies, this is definitely a movie that you have to see, and it should be on your list because it's going to go down as probably a classic in 10, 15 years from now.
Oh, a
Everyone's going to be
thousand
talking about it
percent.
still because it's really good. I
Yeah.
saw it with my entire family in Vegas. Like we very rarely does my family all gather together to see one movie. Usually it's just like Thanksgiving or Christmas that like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll all go see the movie. This was the movie that convinced that I got everyone to go see. I was like, "Hey, I'm coming to
Because of
Vegas for
Justin
a week."
Long.
Not even that. I just said, "Hey, I'm coming to Vegas. Me and my brother Billy are going to go see this movie on this day." And I texted it in the chat, and all of them, and I sent them the trailer, the very first trailer, which doesn't show a lot at all.
Doesn't show anything.
I sent them the first trailer, and they're like, "Yeah, we're all in." And my parents went, my sister and her husband went,
Wow.
and it's me and my brother. So
That's
it was like everyone
insane.
actually gathered together and saw it, and they all liked it. Every single one of them. I thought my dad was gonna hate it because he's like he doesn't like gross things, but he loved
Uh-huh.
it. The only question he had was like, why was she so strong? That's it. That was the only question he had.
The mother
The
character.
mother. That was the only question he had. Everything
Yeah.
else he liked. He liked the horror aspect. He liked the originality. But I was surprised that everyone who saw it liked it, and
Yeah.
I was actually kind of proud because I take that to heart of taking my family to see movies and recommending movies because I didn't know anything about it either. But I have been scarred and I have been looking for approval in that ever since I took my family to see Son of the Mask on my birthday. And they all hated it and they all yelled at me afterward. And it was like my eighth or ninth birthday.
That's funny,
And
son
so
of a mess.
I take it to heart of taking my parents and my family to movies and having them like it. Because if I take them to a movie and they hate it, I take it personally. I'm like,
Hmm.
I shouldn't have done that, even if
Right.
I don't like it. But that's how I felt because
Right.
I went into the super blind, and it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. I would give it a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10,
Really?
7.5 out of 10 because it is very, very jarring and out there, and it's very there's not many bad things about it, but my review is based on an opinion of what I think people will take it in as because it is very scarring and it's very out there. It's not a movie that I want to watch multiple times because of how uncomfortable it made me feel in a good way, but like
Hmm.
that's I think still is a very good movie for not knowing anything about it being the production value of it and everything that they had is awesome. So I'd have to, yeah, I would give it like a 7.5, which is not as high as some
Yeah.
people thought the way I talked about it, but it is a good movie. It makes some really good decisions. Um, but once it starts going, I'm one of those people who's like, this is a lot. And, I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot. It's just a lot to take in.
Dude, it's very, very interesting. I'm reading some stuff on it. Dude, Zach Efron was supposed to be AJ.
That would have been interesting.
He wrote the role for Zach Efron. He turned it down. That would have been
Wow.
man, damn it, Zach Efron. You need to get a
Yeah.
new
You
you need to
did,
figure your shit out,
you did the
bro.
greatest beer run ever instead of this.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
that's out on Apple TV now.
yeah, and that's not
Ah,
getting any good reviews.
I'd say, man, that would have been
I
interesting.
know, right? That would have been very interesting to see. He probably just didn't have the balls to do to
Yeah,
play an
he's
unlikable
probably
character
never
like
played a
that.
dick. Well, he's played a douchebag. He's never played a dick.
Yeah.
So
And it says right here too, Zach Cregger is good friends with Jordan Peele. He spoke to Jordan Peele a lot while writing the film, and Jordan Peele saw an early cut of it. So he definitely was kind of part of the essence of the movie. So that's pretty cool too.
yeah, I get that. Well, especially because of the career that Zach Cregger has, it's very in line
Yeah.
with what Jordan Peele did: sketch comedy
Yeah, sketch comedy.
into features, and then this something way out there.
Yeah, dude. I can't get enough of that movie. I can't wait to see it again. But I definitely I want to see it with some friends, but most of them, because of how I was describing it, most of them are fucking terrified to see it. Like they're just
Yeah,
like, I
you
don't know
gotta
if I
have
want to do
you
that.
gotta have a movie night and have everyone bring their own snacks. Like just make a whole night
Yeah.
of it and scar them. Scar all your
I think I'm
friends.
gonna wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until I have it on VOD, and then I'm gonna have people come over. I'm not even gonna tell
Yeah,
them we're gonna watch. I'm just gonna put it on
yeah.
and see what happens
You
after that.
scar them. That they're gonna love you for that. So,
I think so.
that's awesome. Yeah. So that was our review of Barbarian. The less you know, the better. Check out our review of Bodies, 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 also posted on YouTube. And yeah, check out our full episodes on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are there. History of Popcorn. Let us know what you thought of Barbarian and how much it hurt your heart because it and your eyes. Like it's just it leaves a mark.
It
And that's
does.
that's what I'll say in a good way if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sticking with us.
Thank you.
This has been a History of Popcorn review. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.